All right. I met Imani on Clubhouse, and that experience alone made me gravitate towards her. We did a phone conversation, and ever since that moment, Imani has been very diligent, very professional, very focused on what I want to do. There's not a lot of people who actually could see my vision, and Imani has embedded herself in the vision, and actually we see eye to eye. She's a dope spirit, like very professional and knows her craft very well. She's put together some amazing stuff on my social media, and she has turned it from this big to that big. Her ideas are great, her vision is clear, and her work ethic is unfathomable. You know what I mean? But Imani is one of the best people I've worked with in my experiences as running a nonprofit. I think everybody should definitely use her services. Thank you.
Greetings and grace. I pray that you are pumped, excited as we continue on in this proverbial series, y'all. We are on chapter 9 today, but I pray you're encouraged. I pray you are restored. I pray you are revived this evening as we dive on in. I hope you're turning in your Bibles. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, I just want to let you know, I'm not running a church or anything like that. I love God. I grew up in a church, that's for sure. And I have, like many people, experienced church hurt, a lot of things. However, the fundamentals and the foundations of the things that I've actually been taught have stayed with me, i.e. how to exegete the text, how to communicate in a way of compassion, how to love, you know what I'm saying? And, those biblical principles have also shown up in my life. And as I've evolved and developed my own character there too, as well. So let's get on into it. I want to encourage you guys, you know what I'm saying? Hey, that, and I'm with it too, because, think about it this way. In a world that has gotten rid of Bibles in the schools, in a world that is chaotic, right? In a world that is full of, people that are lost, people that are living in that chaos. As someone who understands, I need everybody to know that, God is a faithful God. And when we remain faithful to God, he takes care of us even more. So, staying in God, right? Romans 10:9-10, if you've ever looked at that verse, basically it's, believing in your heart that, God sent Jesus, the Emmanuel, Jesus the Christ, to die for our sins and raise him for the dead. And on the third day, believe it in your heart, confess with your mouth, you will be saved. And that's Romans 10:9-10. And, again, I'm not running a church. I just want you guys to feel encouraged. I need that. That's one of the things that makes me happy. Because I've been told for, many years that, how I put things together or how I communicate or, what I just bring, into the community, to the community, and so let's get on into it. And Proverbs chapter 9, we are going to talk about the proverbial builder, the proverbial builder. Excuse me, I need to adjust real quick. There we go. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so the proverbial builder. Let's get on into it. All right, so Proverbs chapter 9. And it's, as y'all know, if you haven't been following along, I'm reading from the NIV. And the chapter title is called Invitations of Wisdom and Folly. Proverbs chapter 9. Wisdom has built her house. She has set up its 7 pillars. She has prepared her meat and mixed her wine. She has also set her table. She has sent out her servants, and she calls from the highest point of the city. Let all who are simple come to my house. To those who have no sense, she says, come, eat my food and drink the wine I have mixed. Leave your simple ways and you will live. Walk in the way of insight. Whoever corrects a mocker invites insults. Whoever rebukes the wicked incurs abuse. Do not rebuke mockers or they will hate you. Rebuke the wise and they will love you. Instruct the wise, and they will be wiser still. Teach the righteous, and they will add to their learning. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. For through wisdom your days will be many, and years will be added to your life. If you are wise, your wisdom will reward you. If you are a mocker, you alone will suffer. Folly is an unruly woman. She is simple and knows nothing. She sits at the door of her house on a seat at the highest point of the city, calling out to those who pass by, who go straight on their way. Let all who are simple come to my house. To those who have no sense, she says, stolen water is sweet, food eaten in secret is delicious, but little do they know that the dead are there, that her guests are deep in the realm of the dead. All right, let's get on into it. So, Proverbs chapter 9, verse 1. Wisdom has built her house. She has set up its 7 pillars. You know what I like about this a lot is when you can apply it to your life, when you can apply it to your brand, right? It's about sustainability. You can't have sustainability if you don't have a stable enough foundation. That's spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. That's like in every area. Yes, in certain areas you can have a stable foundation, but in some areas you can actually be lacking. And those things can in fact affect the ultimate building of your home, right? And so when you think about it too, this also causes me to think about, I want to say it's Ecclesiastes 11 verse 2. Hold on. I want to make sure that's right. Where it talks about, and by the way, a lot of millionaires, right? They talk about, 7 streams of income that's taught. And what's wild about it is it's biblical. It's in the Bible. All right. So check this out, right? Okay. So Ecclesiastes chapter 11, I'll start at verse 1, right? Ship your grain across the sea. After many days, you may receive a return. Verse number 2, invest in 7 ventures, yes, in 8. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land. There's a whole lot of power in that. There's a whole lot of power in that. This is why it's important to have 7 streams of income. This is why it's important to ship your grain, i.e., work your talents, the parable of talents. We could talk about that another day, but the gifts that God has already blessed you with, right? You need to exercise them. Even if nothing's coming in right away, exercise them, right? I'll be the first to say, look, I've gone from 0 to, 1,000 in one day. You know what I'm saying? And so you got to understand that you have to put yourself out there. Again, if nobody knows you, they're not going to connect with you. If they can't connect with you, they're not going to purchase from you. And if they can't connect with you, you're not even going to be able to build a relationship of some sort. And, I'm talking, professionally, right? Or a friendship, or even a collaboration where there's some amount of association there, right? You're not going to be able to do that if you're not connecting with people. And you can't connect with people if you're not putting yourself out there. If you're not putting yourself out there, you are hindering yourself, bottom line. And that's for me too. You know what I'm saying? Because, hey, I myself have, I've hindered myself before, and I just want to encourage you guys to not hinder yourself. If I can do it, you know what I'm saying, you can too. And, I've been through a lot. I'll share, some deeper stuff, some other time, but I just want to let you know that you can overcome and you can rock things out. All right. Let's see. Wisdom has built her house. She has set it up. She has set up its 7 pillars. Wisdom thinks ahead. Wisdom understands that there's a vision and that the vision needs to be large. Habakkuk 2 verse 2, write your vision and make it plain. These are very important things. These are very important, like fundamentals. Like wisdom is everything, you guys, man. Like if you listen to me enough times, when I've talked about wisdom, when I've talked about how, I lived a lot of time just naive. I did, and I was like, dang, I need to learn these things. I need to understand these things because 1, I'm tired of being naive. 2, I don't want to be out here ignorant. I don't. I need to fully understand why a lot of things are the way that they are so that I can, fully try to create a solution. And I'm solution based. I really am. Some people aren't necessarily fans of it all the time because I could be solution based like 24/7. And it's something that I've worked on. I mean, even with my mom, right? I remember her telling me, sometimes I just want to vent and everything like that. I don't necessarily want to hear a solution. And I'm like, Oh, well, I'm solution based. You literally taught me to look everything up. When I would ask you, what something meant in a dictionary, you said, look it up in a dictionary. I would ask you, what does something mean? You would tell me, look it up in a dictionary. And like, I have always been, you know what I'm saying? Like, that principle alone has, I just look stuff up. I'm heavy in research. I can find out a lot of things that most people cannot. And so I'm like, I could have been a detective. I'm just saying. But it's just like, okay, this is who I am. I'm naturally solution based. That's the way my mind works. Just sitting and listen. I'm not the best at it. Sometimes I can try, but I'm solution based. And so that's one of the things, you got to know who you are. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, that's just wisdom, right? But I remember telling her, like, hey, you raised me to understand there's good and bad with the choices that you made. And I made a lot of mistakes, of course, in the past, and I've learned. And I've just I've done my best to just make it through, make it by, what I'm saying, as a kid, right? And I was like maybe about 20 years old, maybe 20 or around 21, or right before I turned 21. I was like, hey, I'm going to go make some mistakes because I need wisdom. I lack discernment. I'm tired of hearing that I'm naive, and I need to go and understand the world more, And so she wasn't thrilled. I was like, you're probably going to be disappointed, but that's the way it is, And I am grateful for that time, and like those of y'all that know, last couple of years, I was like, you know what? I'm done making dumb decisions. I've just been floating. Just, I'm like, okay, I'm done being goofy, unless it's like, a joke. But I'm done being, what I'm saying, making decisions, what I'm saying, that could even make me look like a joke. Does that make sense, y'all? So like, drop in a chat if that makes sense. Drop in a chat if you understand where it is that I'm coming from, because wisdom sees ahead. And in order to see ahead, you have to have the knowledge of it. If not, you're ignorant and you're oblivious. And that's foolish to me, especially depending on where God has called you to go. And one of the smartest ways is to, of course, seek the information from mentors. Sometimes, you're going to need to go through some stuff. Sometimes you're going to need a mixture of those things. Me, I had a mixture, and heavier on the experience side, experiencing some just wild stuff. And then I was like, mentor me all day. And let me tell you, I'm 31, but the mentorship has actually given me, these last few years, the mentorship, excuse me, my stomach grumbled for a moment, but the mentorship has actually given me like a mindset of someone, I would say, like in their mid to upper 40s in a lot of areas. Now, just to get everything else to kind of catch up with where I want to be, where I desire to be, right? So let's go on ahead and move it on to the number 8, verse 8. I feel like there's something else I was going to say. Foundation, 7 pillars. Yeah, it's just really good, y'all. It's just really good. Make sure you have a strong foundation, right? Rock it on out. Do not, verse 8, do not rebuke mockers or they will hate you. Rebuke the wise and they will love you. This is important because when it comes to online alone, right, it's easy to get into an argument. It's easy to pass stuff back and forth. I mean, on every single social platform, it's easy. I remember when I had a YouTube channel, right, and I ended up deleting it because it didn't match the brand name that I was pushing. And I could have kept it, because I was actually growing as a dancer, as a, on the hip hop side, I was growing as a hip hop dancer, and actually had a little bit of a fan base. It was actually pretty cool. Like I was rocking gimmicks. I was doing gimmicks, picking like the latest songs, and I was dancing to it. People were like, "Oh my God, were you in that music video?" I'm like, "No, but thanks though." And there were a couple of times where people were just jerks. They were dirt bags. All right. Yeah. Shout out to a word I can say. They were dirt bags, right? And they were wild. They said some off stuff. They said some rude stuff. They said I was fat. They said a whole bunch of other stuff, talk about I'm in the ghetto. And let me tell you something, the fan base, they were They had me like, oh shoot, y'all are some next level stuff. I said, woo. All right, let's not be rude. Let's not be discussing in these comments. Let's be kind, right? And I was also, heavily in the church at that time. Ooh, this one's a long video. Okay, so that's fine. I was also like kind of heavily in the church in ministry at that time. Again, I'm not a pastor, and I'm not running a church. But I'm grateful to be used as a vessel from the Most High. All right. I just want to say that I'm just letting you know that there's no title when it comes with me. I am here to serve a purpose, and simple as that. And I'm grateful. I'm humble for it. And it's awesome. God is good and greatly to be praised. There's so many things that God has just done in my life. And I'm grateful. Okay. All right. Enough about me. And they were rude. They were just rude. And I'm like, you guys, let's not do that. That's not good. Be kind. And like I had to, lovingly tell my fans, please don't threaten other people's lives. That's mad rude. And I remember there was this one guy, and he had messaged me on like Facebook, and he was a jerk. And I was like, do your parents not love you? And I'm like, that was a moment of like, I'm just gonna, speak into this young man's life. And I'm like, do your parents not love you? And then he was sharing, these are the ways that his parents love him. And I'm like, that's not love, boo. And he started to get mad at me because I kept talking about God. I'm like, hey, do you want to accept the Lord as your personal Lord and Savior? And he kept getting mad. I said, it doesn't matter how mad you get. I'm still gonna love on you. I wish I could hug you, man. So right, he was trolling me, and I turned that sucker around, and I just kept talking to him. I would hit him up throughout the week, and he would get so bad at me over time. I actually think that his guard came down, and he was actually kinder. And so that was pretty cool. But I'm saying, don't rebuke mockers or they will hate you. There are a lot of people that, in fact, they just get off on it. And you got to be ready for it. Just let them go. Don't even get involved in the argument. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you control the troll. Sometimes it gets fun, but really, do you have time to, when you think about all of the things that you're trying to do? On top of that, when you rebuke the wise, and they love you for it, right? And it said, rebuke the wise and they will love you. Think about it like this. It's like people who could take ownership, people who are willing and receiving accountability, right? Correction, right? From a loving place, from someone, saying they're like, okay, I'll definitely want to learn from them. Those are the people that you can actually lovingly rebuke. And rebuke in the sense of correction, right? Not like, you're wrong and da 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 da, like you suck. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying like, hey, you know what I'm saying? That really wasn't good. Maybe you should kind of, turn that around, say it differently. Those are the type of people that you want around you. And if you can't receive that, my love, work within, because if somebody can be honest with you like that and be like, hey, I see you really want to go here. I understand where you are. How can I better help you get to where it is you want to go? That's a great segue into reaching that point of, hey, yes, I want to learn more. What are your thoughts on this? Right. Then you can, open up with more solutions. You know what I'm saying? That's something that I found to be, quite nice. And also, trauma therapy and great people, they've shared some things with me. So just like applying, what I'm saying? Everybody, y'all made a beautiful baby. And so verse 13, chapter 9, verse 13, folly is an unruly woman. She is simple and knows nothing. Man, let me tell you something. That was me. That was me. That was me. Yeah, it's as simple as that. Like, okay, again, I'll bring up the word folly. I know I had it up, but we're gonna bring it up again because it's important. Simple, again, that means free from duplicity, upright, guileless, blameless, ignorant, uneducated, unsophisticated, simple-minded, foolish, and naive, foolish, stupid, wretched, miserable. You don't want to be simple. And folly, of course, is foolish. I'm gonna learn this by heart at one time. Mental weakness, right? I'm gonna learn it and commit it to memory. Mental weakness, mental weakness, mental weakness. An unruly woman. has a mental weakness. She is ignorant and knows nothing. I'll leave that at that. Oh, whoops. I thought I almost messed it up. Excuse me. I hit the mouse. But an uneducated woman, wait, excuse me, a woman of mental weakness is uneducated, ignorant, and knows nothing. Don't be that. Let me tell you, just save your time. Time is so precious. Oh my God, time is just beyond precious. All right. So don't. You know what I'm saying? If you want to go out there and go the hard route, you know, try your best to be smart, count the cost, but if you can take the shortcut, it's smart. It's just why it's wiser. It is wiser that way. I actually learned that from Bill Jean, from Bill Jean is marketing. And there was a hold on one second. There was an email, and I will never forget this email. It's one of my favorite emails. Hold on, wait 1 second. I saved it. Let me see if I have it in here. I'm just going to kind of search real quick. This joint, it definitely changed my life. Yo, here's the directions. Hold on. Okay, this joint, I mean, I must have opened up that email a million times, but check this joint out. This joint was lit. It said, "Hey, Monty, there's $1 million buried, and I'm about to tell you where it's at. It's in Wilbur. Go get it." If you're like most logical humans, the first thing you would do is, one, ask more questions like where in Wilbur, two, Google WTF is Wilbur and how do I get there, or three, follow the step-by-step directions that Google Maps or Waze gives you. Then you would drive there and go get the fictitious money. Here's what most logical entrepreneurs do when trying to scale their business. One, get in a car. Two, start driving. Three, hope they get rich. When they don't reach their destination, four, ask their family, their friends or family who've never been there how to get there. Five, they'll post pictures on Instagram pretending they're there. Six, tell everyone it doesn't exist or it's impossible to get to, turn into a troll on social media and post negative stuff online. The 6 out of 100,000 entrepreneurs who do 8 figures annually all follow the same exact step. They ask for directions. That joint was in all caps, y'all. They ask for directions. They learn from someone who's been there that can give you the turn-by-turn directions because they are smart and they don't like wasting time and money. When you actually follow the directions, it's amazing what can happen. Let me show you. And he goes into the breakdown of, what he invested and what he made that year. And when he actually started to invest in his brand and how much he ended up making as a result of that. And so that's where it's, that's where it's at. That's literally where it's at. Like, here's one for an example. In 2020, Bill said he spent $53K in 2020 and he ended up making 11 mil in that year. Right. So when you think about it like that, I'm like, shoot, like this was I want to say this was the email that caused me to actually take the Certified Advertising Genius program. I was like, I'm like, oh, that's it right there, because it just makes sense. And so now having that information, I'm looking forward to reaching my 6 figures, to reaching my 7 figures and beyond, because now I understand. I was like, let me go back. Let me just, reassess. Let me reflect. Let me focus on making sure I have, the strong pillars so that I can actually go on ahead and move forward with what it is that I want and have sustainability in as many areas as possible. And so thank you for that. Billy Jean is marketing. Y'all check him out. And so, it just says, was coaching, mentoring, and attending events all worth it? Yes. So what was my secret sauce? I'm really good at marketing. I have a great team and we're really good at turning strangers into customers. So would you like to work with my team next year to help you do the same? We're going to hop in the car and drive with you so you can stop driving around in circles. And so that's dope. That's absolutely dope. And that's one of the emails that changed my life. There's very few things that I'm like, yo, that changed my life, And so that's what it's about. Don't be an unruly woman. Don't be out here mental weakness, being simple and ignorant, because you're not going to get anywhere. So I just want to encourage you with that. And I'm sharing that from also my own experience, because, hey, we're all trying to grow, right? So have a phenomenal day. Make sure you visit pricesoffaithproductions.com, pricesoffaithwear.com. Go ahead and get it. Yes. It's been a long day, but I'm still here. I'm still rocking and rolling. And I wish you guys all a phenomenal day. God bless. All right. Greetings. Secure your path in just 3 steps. I myself knew a piece of my purpose, but I lacked the depths of my vision. I knew that I would make an impact, but I did not feel significant because I didn't know how to achieve this and actually make money online. Now I exercise the confidence of my purpose, execute my strategies for more impact, and I feel more fulfilled making money as a result, helping other educators do the same as me. Some have even left their 9 to 5. Specifically, this year, I want to help 1,000 people discover their purpose in depth, strategize their impact, and make money online organically with the right information and guidance straight, no chaser. Go to online.theetablueprint.com right now so that you can be confident in your purpose like me and no longer lost on your path. My name is Imani Allen and I own Priceless Faith Productions, where your impact can become omnipresent. 10x, baby!